And good afternoon, you lovely people. My name is Melisha Griffin, and I'm coming back to you again with bite sized nuggets where I'm giving you substance in small doses to help you navigate this journey and this thing that we call life. And today I want to talk with you about surrender. Surrender, surrender, surrender. And this is a word that word does something to me, just like I know it probably does something to you. And I think the biggest reason why we have such a complicated relationship with the word surrender is because it makes us, or it forces us to relinquish control in areas that we think we're supposed to have all the way together. And so when you're surrendering something, you're having to give something up. And a lot of times, giving something up that you think you deserve, or that you think you should have, or that belongs to you is a very difficult thing, especially if you don't know what you're going to get in return, or if you have paid the cost for that thing, if that thing is valuable. If I came to you and I gave you $100, um or let's just use this example. If you worked for $100 yesterday and I came to you and I said, you got to surrender that money to me, you're going to have a hard time with that. Not just because who are you coming to tell me to give you my stuff, but because you work for it. So for you, it is value behind it because you have given your time to get that $100 in exchange. And this is something that we all struggle with. We struggle with surrendering things that God is asking us to surrender, simply because we think that we are owed the things that we have. And sometimes God needs us to discover some things about ourselves, and we can't discover the hidden things that He has for us, which are new things to us, because we haven't surrendered some of the old things that we think we're supposed to keep. And so the word surrender, the definition for surrender is to give up completely, or to yield to the power, control, or possession of another upon compulsion or demand. And this is very important because we are to yield to the power, control, possession of God. When God asks us to give something up for Him, we are to yield to that. That means we are to release what we think we're supposed to have, relinquish control, and give those things back over to God. That is how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to work. And a lot of times we don't get to that point simply because we mismanage the time that God has given us. I'm speaking and I'm not sure if my broadcast just disconnected. So stay with me if you're here, and let's see what's going on. Okay, so we are still here. Great. All right. My entire phone kind of just refreshed, and so I didn't know if you could still hear me. So, great. So we are talking about surrender. And this is important because when we think that we've worked for something or it's due to us, and a lot of things are due to us. If you go to work and you make money on your job, that money is owed to you. But then sometimes God will come alongside you and say, "Hey, I know you work for that, but I need you to give it to someone else." And sometimes when that happens, we have an issue with that because we're like, wait a minute, God, I just got this and I have needs too. But now you want me to give it to somebody else. And what makes their needs greater than mine? This is how we get in our thoughts. And sometimes God is saying, I'm trying to help you discover some things about yourself, some things about who you are, some things about what I've created you to be. There are some things you've been asking me to see, and you can't see them because you won't give up the things that are you think that are owed to you. And so this word surrender is so amazing because I went and I had to do some deeper diving into it. And we talked about surrender, meaning to submitting to like to the control of someone higher or something else, which in this case will be God, what he's asking us to do. But another way to look at surrender is this word yasa. Okay, yasa in Hebrew. And this word means to go forward or proceed into something. And I think this is very important because sometimes God is saying to us, I need you to surrender the things that you think you know about yourself so that I can take you forward into something that you don't know about yourself. A lot of times we are wondering, why are we stuck in these different places, and why can't I advance here or grow here or get more here or elevate here or do all the things that I want to do? And it's just simply because you can't go forward because you haven't surrendered, which means you haven't released the thing that you think you're supposed to have. And I'm speaking personally here because I just came from a walk. My goal is to get 10,000 steps in a day. And I was walking, I was like, my goodness, God, what is happening here? And he said, you have to release some things. And he was even speaking to me about throwing away old journals. And to me, I was like, God, that's tough because these journals are valuable to me. You know, these journals, is this thing cutting out again? Let me see if I cut out again. We are still here. So I said, Lord, you want me to surrender these journals, but these journals are of value to me. These are things that I have written, things I have tucked away, things I have poured out. Even sometimes I go back to these different journals to see different things that you have shown me or have said to me, things that I may have forgotten. And you're saying to throw it all away? You're telling me to, these are valuable to me. And God was saying to me, until you release the things that you think are valuable, things from your past, things from before, you cannot perceive or see or gain knowledge of what I'm trying to show you right now. There are sometimes that the things that we are asking God for are hidden in plain sight. We walked past a certain location at a certain place, I won't say where, and I saw something that I never saw. And I've walked past this location just about every day. And I said, what? And something about this is different. So we began to pray, and God revealed to us something so big. And I went on to research, and I said, my goodness, this has been here this whole time. I've been praying against this thing and praying for this stuff. And meanwhile, the whole thing has been about this. It's been here. It was hidden in plain sight. I couldn't see it until God opened my eyes to see. But what gave God the ability to open my eyes is that I was relinquishing things that I thought I needed to keep with me. And when I began to surrender the things that I thought I needed to have that were teaching me or that were valuable to me, that were helping me navigate this next area in my life, then God could open my eyes to what it really was. It was mind blowing to me. I said, it's been 11, 12 years and I've walked past this thing. How did I never notice it? Because God will open up your eyes when he wants you. And so for some of you, there are things in your life that are hidden in plain sight. That means that God is saying the greatness that you're asking me for and the things that you're believing me for, they're right in front of your face. But you can't see them because you haven't surrendered. So we know again that word surrender means to go forward. You have to be able to go forward, and you cannot go forward if you don't surrender. So we are today relinquishing some things. I would want to tell you to ask God to show it to you, but I believe that God already has. If you are anywhere like I've been, and if you are listening to me and this is going to come across you, then you are called to this specific message. That means that God has already told you what to let go. He's told you what to discard. He's told you what to release. He's told you what to move on from. But the stubbornness in us as people wants us to keep on to these things because they're valuable valuable to us, but God is saying it's no longer valuable to me. And I understand that it's valuable to you. I'm not discrediting what you're going through, but I'm telling you that it's no longer of value to me. That thing is dead to me. So if it's valuable to you and it's dead to me, then you are out of pocket with what I want for you, which means I can't show you what you need to see, because what was will hinder, or what was will trample on, or what was will destroy, or what was will conceal, or what was will tamper with what needs to be. You have to know that what needs to be can only be when you surrender what was. So, this is a call for us to not just surrender things, but also to surrender ourselves. We have to be willing to say, man, I didn't miss it. It's just not what it's supposed to be. That dream I had, maybe it did come from God, but it's not for what it needs to be right now. That thing I was supposed to create, it came from God, but it's not what it's supposed to be right now. Or maybe I revealed it prematurely. Or maybe I told it to the wrong person. Or maybe I had it in the wrong time. And because of all these different things that I will never know of, because if I wrestle with all of that, I'll still miss God, then I won't be able to do what He needs me to do. So we're letting these things go. It's not that they're not valuable, they're just not where God needs us to be right now. We're letting things go and we're moving on. So, my challenge to you today, and I know you're going to do it. I know you're going to do it because we're all going into a new place. We're going into a place of fasting, and we're also going into a place of surrender. And this is not something where we're saying this is a future thing happening. I understand prophetically when I speak, sometimes when God says things, it's for the future. This is not a future thing. This is literally right now where you stand right now. Like, I need to go in my closet and get rid of this old shirt that I've been holding on to. Or I need to go into my office right now and get that tub of old journals and toss them out. Or I need to go into my car and get rid of that old floor mat that has memories I'm hanging on to. Or I need to go in my backyard and you know what? That grill's been around for a long time. I need to get rid of that. I'm talking about tangible stuff, right? Are holding memories and are anchoring us into places that God is saying, I need you to move on. How can I teach you how to cook a new way if you're still using the old grill? When you open up the old grill, every old memory is going to come with you on how you grilled that food. Now, I'm trying to get you to make a new barbecue sauce, and you're trying to figure out why I can't make a new sauce because you're still using the same old grill. And this may not be a right analogy for some of you, but it's just what's coming to my mind right now. It can be something that seems so simple and so silly, but it's so big to God because it has value to us. It has value to us. So, my challenge to you is to do that, throw it out. Surrender, surrender, surrender. We make surrender this big word and this hard thing. When we say surrender, we make it like, oh gosh, I gotta lay out on the floor and I'm got daggers coming to me and I'm pouring myself out. I'm bleeding everywhere. No, it's very simple because this is bite-sized nuggets. We're simplifying these things in life, right? We're saying, God, what is it that I need to give up? Oh, wait, you already told me, let me do that and move on. So that I can get to the next place. Not I'm just going to sit here and wrestle with it, because on bite-sized nuggets, we are not about wrestling. We are about making things simple for us because they're simple to God so that He can take us to the place where we need to be. So if you have made it this far, which you have, and for those of you who are catching the replay, I want you to know that this is simple. We're relinquishing these things and we're moving on. And I pray and I hope and I believe that you're going to have a great, amazing day and that God is going to tell you what it is He needs you to do. And you're going to do it. That simple. So my name is Melisha Griffin, and I thank you for coming to Bite-Sized Nuggets, where I give you substance in small doses to help you simplify life. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you the next time.